Hey everyone, this is Smruti. Welcome to QA automation classes. So today we're going to continue on the second class of the Git interview sessions. So I have listed out the list of the questions that we're going to cover today. So again, 4 questions for today's class. So first one is examples of the Git server or the Git hosting services, and what is the difference between Git and GitHub, and what is a Git repository, and how exactly you can initialize a Git repository. This we'll see through the command line interface. Okay, so let's start with the example of the Git servers or Git hosting services, right? So if you see, we have installed Git, right? So Git is different, that we have already installed, but what are those remote repository? I have been talking about the remote repository, right? So who gives us that remote repository? So there are some Git servers or the Git hosting services, they provide those services to us. So we have GitHub, we have GitLab, we have Bitbucket, right? So these are the few examples of the Git hosting services. Okay, so let me put it over here. Okay, so here I can say that is GitHub, okay, and GitLab, GitLab, and Bitbucket. Okay, Bitbucket. So these are the hosting services. Okay, and then what exactly is the difference between the Git and GitHub, right? So Git is the software that we have installed, right? So if you see, we have installed this Git software, right? And we got Git GUI, Git Bash, and Git CMD. So that is the software that we install locally in our local environment or in our system, right? And GitHub is a service, I told you, right? This is a Git hosting services, and it uses the Git commands or the mechanisms. Okay, and Git is generally installed and accessed locally, right? And whereas the GitHub is an online tool, or it is available through the online. It is an online service, right? So in Git, when installing the Git, we have the Git GUI, Git Bash for the Git command line, right? And GitHub, they have a desktop interface called the GitHub desktop. Okay, so these are the basic difference between the Git and the GitHub. Okay, so Git is something that is installed and in your local, and GitHub is something that is in the remote, right? It's an online service. Okay, so that's the basic difference. And what exactly is a Git repository? So Git repository is a file storage place of the Git. Okay, so the repository can be local or can be remote. Okay, so how to initialize a Git repository? Okay, so let's see this through the Git bash. Okay, so let me open the Git bash. Let's say pwd, where exactly I am now. So see users and Smriti. Okay, so I'll do one thing. So let's create a directory, mkdir, let's say git demo. Okay, git demo repo. Okay, let's say repository. Okay, so let's say ls-l. Let's see where is git demo repository. So you can see a git demo repository is created and is available over here. Okay, so now let's move to that repository, cd git demo repository. So now I can show you this one. If you see C user Smriti and git demo repository, let's go to C drive. So C drive, users, Smriti, git demo repository. Okay, so this is the directory we just now created through the mkdir command. Okay, and now if you see, we're pointing to that git demo repository. So it's a blank folder or a directory. It doesn't have anything as of now, right? So now we are going to initialize a git repository. We will mark this repository as a git repository. How to do that? So we have a command called git init. If I type git init, okay, if I hit enter, so you can see, right? So initialized empty git repository in the C users the git demo repository /git. So it has initialized a empty git repository. But how would you verify that? Let's go to the C drive again and to our folder. Now you can see there is a .git folder getting created over here, right? And this is how you will see. Okay, so this is now this directory that we had already created is now converted into a git directory. Okay, git repository. And if you open this one, you can see there will be hooks, info, object, references, config, description, head. These are the files that is required by the git to track the changes. Okay, so now here in the command prompt, also in the git bash also, we can see the same, right? So let's see. So I am inside the git demo repository, right? So I can say ls hyphen al. Okay, so it will list out the different directories that got created. You know, in Linux or the Unix file system, two empty directories are getting created with dot and dot dot, and then we have our .git directory, right? So this is the one just now we saw, and inside that we have the different files which is required for tracking the changes over the period of the time. Okay, so this is how you initialize a empty git repository. So you create a folder or the directory and go to that directory, and then you type the command git init. So when you type the git init command, the git will initiate or initialize that git repository, empty git repository, and it will try to create a .git folder. So if you see that .git folder is created for your directory, then you know, okay, so now the local git repository has already been created. Okay, so whatever the code changes or the code I'm going to add, I can add it over here. Okay, this is how you locally create your git repository. Okay, this is the local git repository. Okay, hope everyone is clear. If you guys have any questions, just ping in the comment section. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And if you guys are really liking this content and enjoying the sessions, I will request you to subscribe to my channel, and there is a WhatsApp link, and there is a link for the Telegram channel also. So please to join them, and please share these videos with your friends or who are wanting to learn the Git and all those concepts. Okay, so that they can also subscribe and get benefited out of it. Okay, so we'll meet in the next class. Thank you.